Yeah, let's use the default risk premium to explain why the interest rate on the BAA corporate bond is higher than the interest rate on the treasury bonds. Yeah, first assume both bonds has the same time to maturity. So suppose 10-year BAA corporation bond versus 10-year treasury bond. Yeah, like what we learned in the last chapter, we need to draw a bond supply and the demand curve. So that's the price of the bond. That's the quantity of the bond. Price of the bond and the quantity of the bond. And then you can draw the bond supply and the bond demand. Assuming the initial price of the corporate bond and the initial price of treasury bond are on the same level. So which means initially both bonds has the same level of the interest rate. But investors will find out the BAA corporate bond actually has a higher default risk. The default risk means a company cannot pay out the interest or the principal on time, means the company go bankrupt. And you see in many cases the company do fail in the real world. But what about the treasury bonds? Treasury bonds is issued by the federal government or Department of the Treasury. The federal government is a very good borrower. The federal government never defaulted in the history. As a result, and the investors will find out the treasury bond has a lower default risk. Once investors find out these two bonds have a different level of the default risk, it will affect the investors' demand. Remember, the risk is a factor that will affect bond demand from what we learned previously. So because higher default risk, the demand for a bond will go down in the BAA bonds market. So which means demand curve will shift to the left. And because investors find out the treasury bond has a lower default risk, so investors will buy more treasury bonds. So demand will go up. So treasury bond market demand curve actually shift to the right. So after the shift, we can see that's a new price for the corporate BAA bonds. So price of the corporate bond actually decline because you can see clearly from this graph. So if the price drop, what happened to the corporate bond interest rate? Because bond price and the interest rate have a inverse relationship, so the interest rate of the bond will go up. So which means the corporate bonds interest rate will reach the higher level. Meanwhile, look at the treasury bonds market after shift of the demand curves. The treasury bond price actually increased. PT, T means the treasury, increase. And with the inverse relationship, the treasury bonds interest rate will reduce. So you compare interest rate in these two markets. Initially, they are in the same level. Now, the corporate BAA bond interest rate increased, and the treasury bond interest rate reduced, and you can pretty sure to say the corporate bond right now, the new interest rate will be greater than the treasury bond interest rate. So that's what we found out why 10-year BAA bond interest rate is higher than 10-year treasury bond, because we can use the default risk to explain.